You are now listening to the Do It Movement podcast, where we share our experiences in real estate investing and encourage you to take action. You don't want to miss what we have in store today, so let's welcome our host, Martine Richardson, and our co-host, Lori Eubanks.
What's up, Do It Movement listeners? This is your host, Martine Richardson, your buy and hold coach, and I'm with my co-host, Lori Eubanks. How are you doing today, Lori?
I'm doing awesome. So happy to be here. Excited to spend time with y'all. And really the reason of this episode is to put you in the hot seat and hear your story, and excited to share knowledge along the way. So Martine, how did you get started?
Well, I want to start by saying that I'm really excited to be in the hot seat today. I think it's so important that you know who you're listening to. You want to see that we're credible sources. I wouldn't suggest you listening to people that haven't actually done this. So I'm excited to be in the hot seat today. So let me just tell you about my story. So I've been in real estate for 10 years now, almost 11, but 10.
Decade.
And when I first got started, I got started because one of my parents told me, he was like, oh, you should get into real estate. And I'm like, how am I going to get into real estate? I don't have any money. Let me give you a little background before I got that you should get into real estate conversation. So I had graduated college. I think it was maybe 2 years before. I went to James Madison University, got my degree in finance. Go Dukes. And I had worked a job right after college. I got fired from that job. I realized I really didn't like working jobs. They just weren't fun to me. I've been working all through high school. I think I worked a little in middle school, actually. I don't know if that's, violating any child labor laws or anything like that, but I worked some. And I always thought, once I got my degree, once I got a job with my degree, oh man, I'm really going to enjoy what I'm doing, because before then I always had the mentality that, I'm just going to push through because I'm doing this because it's going to be better later. Even if I didn't like it, I would just do it because I needed money and it'll be better later. That was always my mentality. So here we are at later after college, where I'm supposed to actually enjoy the job, and I still hate it. I feel unfulfilled. And it was the most amount of money I had made up into that moment, but I just didn't like it. And I guess that showed in my work because I got fired. And one reason, I went, before I had got my degree in finance, the reason I had gotten my degree in finance is because my senior year of high school, I worked at this insurance company, and it was a guy doing so well in the company, and he had a degree in finance. And I said, I don't want to do well. I'm going to get that degree in finance. So I carried out the plan, but of course, when you're in school, I'm like, okay, I'm talking to my advisor. Hey, I was thinking about working an insurance job. And she's like, what, an insurance job? Get a real job. Stop playing. So she kind of encouraged me to work a regular job, even though that wasn't the reason that I had gotten that degree. So I applied for a job. I got it. And I would say I am thankful for her, because she did help make sure I'm leaving with some money in my pocket. No, I'm not sure if I'm going to get paid or not. She made sure I had a guaranteed check coming in. But I realized it just wasn't what I wanted to do. So when I got fired, I was like, maybe it's my opportunity to work with insurance. So I started working in insurance, and I realized I hated it. I found a place where I was making the same amount of money I was making at that first job, but I really didn't enjoy it because we were working all the time, 7 days a week, 12 hours days. We used to have meetings every morning where he's motivating us and pumping us up. And the days I wasn't motivated, I would just be quiet, because why should I bring your energy down? But I hated it. So I ended up trying to find another company so that I could have a better work-life balance. And I just realized if I'm honest, I don't really believe in insurance that much. And it makes it hard for you to do something you don't believe in. And the reason I'm like that is because I feel like insurance companies are always trying to find a way out of paying you. I'm supposed to call you when I need you most, but you're trying to find a way not to cut the check. And I don't like that. Like, I feel like, I mean, I get it. People probably try to take advantage of it or whatever. But for me, I wasn't like, oh, I'm not going to tell you to don't, pay your cable bill so you can get this insurance. I'm not doing that. I'm going to tell you go get the cable so you can have a little enjoyment in your life. So that's what happened prior to that conversation of, oh, you should get in real estate. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't have any money. How's that work? So that first job that I had gotten out of college, I had bought a car. I was living in the DC area. I was living the life, I guess you could say. But I just remember when I got fired, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to pay for this car? This is like my sole source of income. How am I going to pay for this car? So let's fast forward to me working my insurance jobs, trying to find a work-life balance with another company. I'm not really too motivated to talk to people because I don't believe in this product. My car gets repossessed. When my car got repossessed, like, I had heard about, oh, you should get into real estate, but I didn't take it seriously. I was like, I don't have any money. How does this work? But when my car got repossessed, I was like, well, if I could just make enough money to get my car back, I mean, maybe this would be the path to go. So I'd say they took the car. The next day, Martine took real estate seriously because I was like, if I could just get the car. Anyway, I had been presented this book, which was called How to Quit Your Job in 19 Weeks by Sean Terry. And in the book, he talked about wholesaling. And it said that you can get something under contract and you could sell the contract. I had never heard of that before. I was like, oh my God, you can sell contracts? That's like amazing. Like, what? You don't need money? So I was like, this is my ticket in. I can get into real estate. So it took a while. Like, if I'm honest with you, it wasn't like, oh, I decided to wholesale and I started making money next month. No. It took me 2 years to get my first deal under contract. 2 years. Can you imagine that? I'm broke. My car's gone. And I'm still not getting any deals. You're probably wondering, like, how did you even stay motivated to continue to do this for 2 years? It was more of a trying and failing approach. So I would try something and then, like, for instance, I would send some direct mail. People would call. I would be nervous to answer the phone, to even like talk to the person. And I would call them back later. And then like I remember I met with one person and they didn't accept my offer. And I was like, man, this doesn't work. And if you know anything about this, go ahead.
What made you keep going? What you were failing forward, but like what kept you motivated?
Mm-hmm. So I kept listening to podcasts. I would go to meetups. And I think what really helped me is when I decided that I was going to keep doing this until it started working for me. I remember at the time, my best friend at the time, she had just gotten her master's degree, and she was also going through a rough time in terms of finding a job and having money. So they kept playing those Amazon commercials for people to come work in the warehouse, right? And we're like, forget it. We're going to go work at Amazon. We need to make some money. And my idea was to work there and then do real estate in the evenings. But it just, it was difficult. Like, the job was very taxing, so it just made me extremely tired. It made it difficult. And then, like, I just think I had a realization one day, like, I have a degree in finance. Why do I work here? So I ended up going to get a financial analyst job. But all while doing that, because I needed money. Like, if I wasn't doing deals, there's no way I could have just lived 2 years with no money. Like, at the time, I didn't have any kids. I didn't have a husband. I didn't have really anybody depending on me, which was great. But I needed to make a way for myself. So, like, what really was the deciding factor for me is that I kept trying stuff and it wouldn't work. And then, like, I would come back to it and try something else and it wouldn't work. And, like, I was still listening to podcasts. And as I was listening to those podcasts, it just came to me that it's no way everybody on these podcasts are lying. Like, it's no way everyone's saying they're making money in real estate and they're not making money. Like, what is this? The cult of people that lie about making money in real estate? Like, I just didn't think that would have been the case. So I started just saying, okay, well, I'm going to keep doing this until it starts working for me. So I just listened to podcasts. There was one meetup in town. I didn't even know about all the meetups. I think I knew about 2 of them at the time. But it was one in particular that I continued to go to over and over. And they would help me. I would listen to podcasts. They would tell me what to say in the house. Like when I'm talking to sellers, I would just say it. And then if I needed help, I'd go to a meetup and say, hey, I got a seller that wants to do this. And they would show me how to structure the deal. So that's kind of like how I got started. But I will say, when I decided that I wanted to keep doing this and be consistent and make it happen for me, I got 5 deals under contract.
Wow.
So when it went from a drought to raining, and it was amazing. And it was all because I made the decision that I'm going to stay consistent until it starts working for me. And then it started working for me. And then so my story, I feel like it's so long, but I just want you guys to know who I am.
And people learn.
But yeah, I just remember I had found this podcast where he would tell you exactly what list to pull. He would tell you what type of marketing to do, how often to market to them, how many to market to. I was like, wow, this is golden. He's giving it all away. And I was on Facebook in a real estate group, and someone was bad-mouthing him. They were like, oh my God, what he says doesn't work. It's not true, blah, blah, blah. So I defended him. I said, that's not true. I did exactly what this guy told me to do, and I got 5 deals under contract. The guy I was defending, he saw what I posted, and he invited me on his podcast. And at this moment, I'm a nobody. Starstruck. I'm like, oh my God, he invited me on his podcast. So I get on his podcast. He invites me into his coaching group. And then I learn how to make more money from the deals I'm already doing. So that was kind of the benefit of joining that coaching group. And then later on, I found out how to keep the properties. And I said, when I started getting checks for work I did a long time ago, especially because I started with active income in real estate, I said, wow, how do I get more of these? Because if I can build this up, this will build my freedom. And that's what I got into this for. I wanted freedom. As a little kid, and this has always been ingrained in me, I didn't know how I was going to do it. But as a little kid, I used to always think to myself, I want time and money. How do I get time and money? And I had no clue how I could get it. Because when I was younger, my mom had a lot of time, but she didn't have a lot of money. And I was like, it has to be a way you can have time and money, because I knew I wanted a family. I knew I wanted to be there for them. And I knew it was a way to do it, but I just didn't know how. So I always pondered on that idea, and then something finally came that showed me that, oh, this is my ticket. This is how I can make that happen. And then from there, I just continued to buy and hold, built my financial freedom from buying and holding, and now I'm coaching people on how to do the same. I mean, this has totally changed my life. So it's like, I have the good news. Who am I to just keep this to myself? I must share it. It's so many people that want this. And I feel like this is so defined. This is okay, this is my path. I want to show people how they can be on this path so you can stay focused. Because it's a lot of distractions out here. It's all these different strategies you can do. But I like to focus on this in particular because of the lifestyle it gives me, because of the freedom it gives me. So that's my long story. Not long short, this is the long story.
You left a lot out though. So let me ask you, how long in years, how long did it take for you to get that mentality, the buy and hold?
And do you mean how old was I? Or do you mean how long before I started in real estate?
Yep. How long in real estate did it take you to switch from wholesaling to wanting to hold rentals?
3 years.
Okay. That's very...
And I think if I'm honest with you, I think if I would have known how to keep them from the beginning, I would have started with buy and hold, but I didn't know it. I didn't know anybody that was doing that. I mean, maybe I did from the meetups, but they never shared that with me. So, I didn't know it, like my circle of people that I was around, no one was in real estate. I don't have any family members in real estate. I don't have any friends. No one. So for me to think that I have no money, but I can keep properties, I didn't know that was possible. Later on, I found out that is possible. And we can talk more about that later. But yeah, so I think initially starting off, if I would have known that, I would have started with that. But I actually learned that through a mistake, which was 3 years later. And I don't even know if I would say it was a mistake. It was more so of me just mimicking what I heard. And someone actually wanted that. So like, I'll go into that just a little bit. The way I got my first rental property is I would always be talking to sellers. Like I would go in the houses and talk to sellers. And I got one seller where I would ask everyone that I met with. I asked him, do you want a cash offer or would you take payments? Like 99% of the time, people said, I want cash. This guy said he wanted to take payments. And I'm like, wow, you want to take payments? In my head, I'm like, takes payments. But I didn't say that. I kept my cool. I said, okay, well, I'm going to see how I'm going to structure this. And then, I'll get back with you. So in my head, though, I'm thinking, I got to figure out how to do this. No one has ever taken the payments. How do I even put that together? So I go to a meetup and I say, hey, like they do the presentation. After the presentation is over, I'm like, okay, hey guys, I went to somebody's house and the guy said he would take the payments. I don't even know how to structure that. Help. So they took the time and they wrote out exactly the structure that I should present to the guy. And I'm like, thanks. I go back, present this to him. We negotiate a little, but we come to an agreement. Then I take that property and I lease it out to someone. And I started getting checks for that month after month while I'm still doing active stuff. But month after month, I was still getting checks from that. And I was like, wait a second. I don't think I'm doing this right. I'm over here hustling for all of these deals when I could get paid from deals I did a long time ago. Are you kidding me? I need to figure out how to do more of those. So that's what kind of led me on the journey of finding out about, you can use other people's money to buy things. You don't have to use your money to buy it. And I'm like, ooh, tell me more. What's in it for them? And you show them how you can grow their money. And while you're doing this, you're building a rental passive cash flow for yourself. And you're giving people great returns. You're helping the seller out by getting them out of these situations. It's just win, 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 win. You're giving a person a beautiful place to live. It was a different mentality for me. And I'm just excited that I went on that journey because, it changed so much for my life and for my family's life. And I think I always like to emphasize that because it's not like, oh, I got rentals, no big deal. No, big deal. It's a big deal. And I think it all started, if I'm completely honest with you, as a kid, I used to always think, how can I have time and money? Like, I'm not joking with you. I was literally like 8 thinking about that. Man, it has to be a way. And then I would just start doing something else. But that thought always kept coming back to me. So when I started getting checks from something I did a long time ago, the light bulb went off and I was like, this is how I can get time and money. So it just made me want to go into that a lot more.
That's amazing. We have done many deals together. And, I've just enjoyed doing business with you. You're someone that has such high integrity. You do what you say in every deal. And I know that sellers appreciate that. How did you started getting deal flow? You had the mentality shift. Mm-hmm. You're going to do buy and holds. How did you structure financing? At what point did you start getting private money in your deals?
I love it. So I've been doing this for 10 years and I've been doing it 8 years full time. And I would love to say that, it was totally my choice to go full time. I would love to tell you that. But I was planning to leave a little later and I got fired again. See, I am unemployable. I continue to get fired when I work at different places. They see that I'm uninterested in what we're doing. Anyway, so much time to like dedicate to the business. I was so used to having to fit it in on the evenings or the weekends. And like I had so much time at that point, and I was like, man, I really need to capitalize the amount of time I have. And I want to give somebody some credit. I didn't tell you guys about the first mentor, but I want to give some credit to someone right now. Someone who is someone like that teaches people this, like how can I learn more? And somebody was like, do you know Jim Ingersoll? And I was like, no, who's that? And he's like, well, he has meetings he has like these big events every year. He has a mastermind group and stuff like that. And I was like, great, say no more. Now, at the time, so I joined Jim's mastermind group when he had it. And at the time, I didn't have a lot of money. I got fired. I wasn't prepared to leave yet. I was trying to build my nest egg to leave. And I was like, well, I think I have enough for like 1 month of the mastermind. I need to make the most of it. I'm about to meet everybody in this daggone mastermind. So I set up meetings with everyone to just get to know them better. Like, how did they get into this? Share your story. And to be honest with you, I didn't know anything about let me, build connections with people. Let's build relationships. I just really wanted to get to know everyone in this group because they were in this group too, so they must be successful. So I started getting to know them a little bit better. In his group also, he had like all of these archive videos, and I know like a lot of people, they might not even think, they even notice those videos. I was like, I got 1 month. I got to watch everything. I have to meet everyone as I can for this 1 month. So I started watching the videos, and he started talking about self-directed IRAs. And I said, ooh, what's that? And basically what he talked about in the videos was people can put their retirement money into something of self-directed vehicle. It could be an IRA, it could be a 401k, it's other accounts that you can put it in as well. And they can invest their money into your real estate deals. And I said, wait a second. They can invest their money in my real estate deal? And then he talked about how if you're able to find good deals, which I was already good at doing, I had already learned that skill set, that you could get them to fund the entire deal. And I said, the entire deal? So I was just, I'm like mind blown. I'm like, man, it's the best month of my life. They should have fired me a couple months ago. But anyway, so I'm finding out this information, and then I end up going to one of his deal makers. And at the deal maker, I met great people like Lori. Like, we sat down next to each other, and we like instantly became friends. And I think it's because every time I joined something, I had to make it known that like I need to meet all the people that are in this. So like he had like a Facebook group for everybody that's coming to Deal Maker. So I added everyone as my friend. I want to be a familiar face when we walk in there. So yeah, so I just started exploring more. And in terms of structuring, when you're buying stuff and you're keeping it, and I mean, I think it's like any real estate transaction, really, to be honest with you, you need to make sure that you are buying at the right price. And when I say the right price, you don't want to overpay for anything. I like to be all in at 70%. So that is buying it, that's doing the rehab, that's if I'm completely honest with you, I want that to include my holding costs, my closing costs. I wanted to include everything. So that's why it's so important when I'm buying stuff, I have to buy it at such a deep discount, because every dollar I save is a dollar in my pocket. And that's how I've always looked at it. And then I just want to give a message to the wholesalers that are listening to this. If you're a wholesaler and you're already good at finding deals, meaning you're making big spreads, you're making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, you can most definitely buy and hold. You can use private money to buy these properties, and you can actually get a huge chunk of money at the refi and keep the property. I just think it's so important that we emphasize that you can still make big sums of money, or you can still get big sums of money if you want, but you can also keep the property. If you're already good at negotiating, if you're already good at getting things at a really good discount, you're golden to be a buy and hold investor as long as you learn that process, because you can still make chunks of money and then you can keep the properties. And then like later down the road, you can keep getting checks for work you did a long time ago. So if you wanted to go on vacation or take a day off or, spend time with your family or whatever the case may be, you can get out of that hustle mode because you don't have to hustle for the rest of your life. I just want to emphasize that hustle is meant for a season, not a lifetime.
Ooh.
So you don't want to burn your...
Say it again. I need to hear that too.
Hustle is meant for a season, not a lifetime. You don't want to burn yourself out. Yes, you enjoy doing what you're doing, but this quote before that great people don't want to have to work. They want to work, but they don't want to have to work, meaning like I have to go to work because I need money. You want to work because you enjoy it. You want to add value to society. You want to actually enjoy what you're doing. You don't want to be like, I gotta go to work because I have no money. Like, it's just a shift in mindset, and it allows you to be a more productive member of society. I just want to emphasize that hustle is meant for a season, not a lifetime. So start buying and holding. You're already getting good deals anyway.
That. And it's amazing when we see our wholesalers grow into the buy and hold and their mindset changes. It's almost contagious when you're sharing, keep some, and then how much it changes in 5 years. So your first rental property, if you can think back to the first buy and hold, how much more do you think it's gone up from that year to this year? How much more?
So I still have that property. That property, I ended up getting it for $35,000, which is amazing. I didn't even know we were like going through a shift at the time. I just went to work, but I got it for $35,000. If I'm honest with you guys, I did not fix it up. The person that moved in fixed it up, and it is worth $240,000 right now. Wow. And that is the power of buying and holding. It's more of working, like, why should we play checkers? Play chess. Work smarter. Like, it's no need for you to continually have to chase deals if you don't want to. If you enjoy it, go for it. Because, I love still doing deals. I'm excited. I'm doing different parts of the deal. I'm designing and all of this great stuff. But it's like, do the stuff you enjoy. You don't have to continue to cold call people and, people cursing you out and leave me alone and they're reporting you and all of this stuff because they don't want to be bothered. You don't have to go through that. You need to work smarter. And by keeping the properties, it allows you to let the asset do the work for you.
I love that. So, your story is amazing. So many questions, so much you've given back to us. What is the number one game changer that you've had in your journey? The biggest impact, or any tip?
Do you want me to share? I'm gonna ask you specifically like which way you want me to go with it. Do you want me to share a resource, or what was my aha moment?
What is your aha
a book?
Moment? What? Yes, your aha moment. The biggest.
I think my aha moment was you don't have to use your own money to keep properties. I did not know that was possible. Before I got into real estate, I did not know that was possible. I felt that, and maybe some people that are listening feel this way, I felt that like only rich people kept the properties. But if you're honest, you get rich by keeping the properties. So if you can learn how to keep the properties, then you can be in that rich or wealthy class of people. It's kind of like who came first, the chicken or the egg. It's more so like they learned this strategy, and then that allowed them to become wealthy. So for me, my aha moment was I can provide people great returns, keep properties, provide a nice house for people to move into that they'll love and take care, and that gives me passive income. And I can hold on to this property forever if I want. and I didn't have to use any of my own money to do it. I just have to use my brain. And when you get into your longer term, you would have to use your credit. But I mean, it's ways around that too if your credit's not great. I mean, if you guys heard my story, I started with my car getting repossessed, so you can guess what my credit looked like. There are ways around it. So I think that was my aha. Like, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but it's just changed so much. Like, it's the life that my daughter is living. It's totally different from the life that I lived when I was her age. And I do want to share one thing. I was talking to my mom the other day, and she's always so proud of my daughter and stuff like that about what she's doing. And she's only 2, but it's your baby. You think she's the smartest person in the world, and oh my God, she's so great and all that great stuff. Anyway, I was telling her about her playing soccer and that she's picking it up good. She's great. And my mom said, your daughter is a lot like how you were when you were little. She grabs all the information. But the difference is you have a lot more resources than I had. So she can become anything. She might be in the Olympics.
I love it.
I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Like that really touched me because that's what I always wanted. I wanted to have time, and I didn't want to have constraint of not having money. So this has really that has really helped my family so much, set us up for so much.
I love that. And you shared a lot. Networking was important in your journey. Those aha moments came with support that you created. You didn't have that circle. You made that circle, and you put yourself in maybe uncomfortable situations. So I'm just proud to be able to share that story and information that will help others get over their fear, because it's not always comfortable talking to strangers and asking for money, deals. And the other biggest thing is that you make money when you buy. And so the power in getting paid 2 or 3 times the way that you're structuring your buy and holds is so smart. So, well, how can we reach you, Martine, if we want to connect with you on deal flow coaching, private money? How do we get a hold of you?
So the best way to get a hold of me is in my totally free Facebook group. It's all things buy and hold investing. If you come in there and you're talking about, I want to wholesale, we're going to bash you. No, I'm joking, because we might buy it. But the name of the group is The Freedom Inc. It's on Facebook. We'll put the link in the show notes. But this is a totally free buy and hold community where we encourage each other to continue on our real estate journey. So it's a lot of motivation. I like to have case studies in there where I can show you real life examples of what does this look like in like real time today, not 10 years ago or anything like that. So that is the absolute best way to reach me. I also have a one-on-one coaching program for people that are serious and you want someone to hold your hand and you want baby steps all the way until you get your first deal done, all the way to the refinance process. If you are interested in that, join the group as well, and then just send me a message. And then I will reach out to you, and we can see if you'll be a good fit for the program.
Very excited in everything that group is going towards. It's really inspiring. And if you want to reach out to me, my email will be in the comments. I'm on all the social media as well. So connect if you're deal making or private lending. We're always making moves. And thank you so much for being with us today and spending time. And we hope you enjoyed this session.
Right. Until next time, Do It Movement listeners. See ya!
Thank you for tuning into our show. If you need more handholding on your rental property investor journey, book a 15-minute strategy session with Martine. We can see if you're a fit for the Freedom Inc. fam, link in the show notes. Also be sure to join the free Freedom Inc. Facebook group, where each week Martine goes over a real-life rental property investor deal and shows you how the deal was found, how to get the money, and how to make it cash flow, and much more. If you'd like to connect with Lori, be sure to email her at vitalizeproperties@live.com. Until next time.